channel. This is Cheychuu. How are you guys all doing today? I hope that you guys are all having a beautiful day, night, wherever you guys may be in the world. And I hope that you guys are making sure to take care of your energy as such. Happy 444 Portal Day. Today is April 4th, 2020. 2020 reducing to a 4. So if you guys have been seeing a lot of 444 energy, that is why. It's all about foundations, stability, building new foundations, crumbling of old, for the new to come in. And it's also about the house, the temple, because, not only does it represent our physical house that we're in right now, but our body, mind, body, and soul. So also 444 is a representation of angelic beings being around you, like surrounding you around your journey, helping you, guiding you to the direction that you need to go to, right? So, and also it is, a lot of people like to say that 444 is like an emperor masculine type energy. So a lot of people associate Archangel Michael with the number 4. So Archangel Michael could also be helping a lot of others on their journey, especially the twin flame journey as such. Mind you, it's just a label, okay? It's all about the connection and everything like that. But I always like to say, like, all of this, we humans create labels in order for us to have a better understanding or able to communicate, but sometimes that can be miscommunicated as such. So just want to make that very clear, okay? All right. So I kind of want to touch bases about everything that I've been seeing lately. It's really cold. Oh my gosh. It got really cold real fast. But I just recently, my birthday was yesterday, so that was cool. I did make a little post yesterday on my Instagram explaining why my birthday is kind of a trigger for me and how I have a really hard time when it revolves around my birthday because of past trauma, etc. So it was like this year I was releasing that need, or like that feeling, those old feelings that came back to the surface, which was anger, anxiety, depression, oh my gosh, like flashbacks galore. And I was very triggered to the point where I got sick and I was just throwing up a lot. So yeah. And also that can contribute to a lot of the ascension symptoms that are going on right now with the world, especially with all the heavy energy, and the fact that the 444 portal represents the Great Awakening, which is basically what we've all been waiting for spiritually wise. Like, we've all been waiting for this to happen for years, centuries, right? And oh my gosh, the sun came out. Very bright. But it's like the Great Awakening is all about clarity. It's all about coming into your power, realizing your power and your strength, realizing that you're more of a multi-dimensional being than someone that's just stuck to this physical 3D plane. Like, you are more infinite and more vast as a soul, as a being, than just a human experience, right? So a lot of people are starting to wake up to that. A lot of starseed, a lot of people who resonate with the starseed terminology, right? Starseed's more of a newer age terminology, while as the older generation don't typically use starseed. So take what wills, take what resonates. All I know is that starseeds are basically another term for older souls, or just souls that are meant to come here at a certain point on this earth in order to help raise the vibration of the planet from the 3D to the 5D, which is basically what's happening now. We are now entering from the 3D into the 5D, okay? And that requires a lot of like growing pains, a lot of ascension symptoms, right? And especially since we're not used to those higher vibrations, our body needs some time to calibrate. So if you've been feeling like really lethargic, insomnia, feeling anxiety, depression, very heavy, like pressure, that type of thing, you could be going through a Kundalini awakening, or a dark night of the soul process, which I always say the dark is the gift that the divine gives us in order for us to transmute into a lighter and positive experience, okay? Excuse me. I talk very fast and all over the place. My Mercury is in Aries, by the way. Yeah, so I kind of wrote everything down. Normally I write things down on my journal, and I did, but this time I wrote it in my phone, so I'm going to read off of this from now. But I'm going to jump right in. As far as like astrology goes lately, to look out for, I mentioned that today's the 444 portal, but the full moon is going to be on April 7th. I did mention that within previous videos. It's going to be in Libra on April 7th. So keep that in mind. Very heavy energy. It's all about balance, justice. I'm seeing the justice card right now. Balancing of the scales, karmic rewards, etc. So, and then new moon is on April 22nd, 23rd, right? 2020, which is going to be in the sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign. And Taurus is like, my sister is a Taurus. I actually know a couple of Tauruses in my family. It's a fixed sign, right? So very stubborn. But at the same time, Taurus is all about that. They're really great manifestors. In fact, I feel like Tauruses are one of, if not only, like one of the best manifestors, like as far as sign wise in the astrology wheel. So a lot of people already know that the earth signs are mainly like the best at manifesting because they are earth based. They, it's easy for them. Typically when you're like fire, air, that type of thing, you have a harder time to ground energies from the 5D into the 3D. So it typically takes you a little longer. It just depends on what's in your chart. So, but fun fact. As far as the Ascension symptoms go, I've been experiencing or noticing that the collective is going through some stomach pain, which is solar plexus chakra activations, lower back pain, which can contribute to sacral chakra clearings as well, okay? And then dizzy, nausea, and throwing up is another symptom. A lot of people kind of fail to mention that, but people who are very sensitive in energy-wise, especially empaths, are so sensitive to like energy that it makes them nauseous or dizzy or actually physically purge to throw up, okay? It's not as common, okay, within the dark night of the soul process, but it does happen to others out there. So I want to reference that, and it has happened to me. In fact, I'm very sensitive. My main gift that I never really let go was clairsentient, but every other gift I have been working on since like I last turned it off or I realized that like for my last really big awakening is what we would say. The first awakening is like the big awakening is what we would like to call it. So a lot of people are going through that big initial awakening, and that tends to be very intense, okay, and scary, and it can be very daunting, especially if you don't know like what direction or who to ask to, or it doesn't help for a fact that if you have people around you that feel like you're crazy or seem or like kind of, that's kind of what the process is that usually people around you, they'll start to notice that you're going to be different, you're not the same. It's that type of thing. So your moods, a lot of mood changes and mood swings are happening around this time as well. And keep in mind we're also in a fire season, which is Aries, and Aries when unbalanced can be very impatient and can deal with anger issues and can be very pop offish, right? And very impulsive, right? Without more so jumping into things without thinking first and not using discernment. So it's a lot of people are just kind of like really being tested right now as far as that goes with the Aries season. But Aries is all about fire and it's purification. So it's painful, like the phoenix, right? The process of burning up is painful, but when you rise up from those ashes, you become a better and newer and much stronger version of yourself, right? So diet changes, you could be experiencing that you're not craving the same foods that you used to crave anymore. So say for instance, if you were a big dairy eater, no longer is your stomach or body able to handle dairy or certain types of food like meat. I always say it's people's choice. Like I'm all for people who are either vegan or non-vegan. Like I'm not for pushing people to doing what they don't want to do. There's certain body types that require actual meat that they cannot survive off of meat. So I always say do what you think is best. Make sure that you go to an actual nutrition, like a nutrition person or a professional in order for you to feel like what's the best option for you, okay? If you cannot do that, then yes, try eating healthier greens and fruits and stuff like that. More of an alkaline based diet is preferred, is what we would like to say, but foods that are high in magnesium, potassium, etc. So those are very important around this time, especially with the muscle aches and the back pain and all that stuff. Potassium really helps when it comes to cramps and all of that. So fun fact. So the Kundalini awakening, I did mention a little bit of that before. It represents kind of like the snake, or pretty much your chakras going through an activation, kind of waking up mode, kind of firing up the engine. That's how I would put it. Firing up the engine is what Spirit's saying, but it represents like a snake going and curling up your spine in a way. So, and people don't know, like it kind of ties into like biblical type things. If you read about the snake in the tree of life in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, that type of thing. There's a lot more than just eating an apple, talking to a snake on a tree, right? It's a little bit deeper than that, and I want people to be able to kind of dive a little bit deeper instead of going by what you're told or what you think is surface-based level stuff. Now's the time to really dive deep, go into hermit mode, Four of Swords mode. Now that we're in quarantine, and now's the best time to take advantage of that, okay? What I meant by pressure, it means that the more pressure that spirit puts on you, the more of a beautiful diamond you can become, right? Because diamonds, a lot of crystals, a lot of rock-based minerals require pressure in order to be formed or created, especially with land, just anything. A lot of things that require birth, or no, that, yeah, a lot of things that are birthed require pressure, okay? So, and then the Claire's gifts are very heightened lately. So I mentioned I'm very clairsentient, but I also am clairvoyant, claircognizance, I don't know why I'm blanking out on this one. But all the Claires, okay? I'm blanking out. But the thing is that everybody has these gifts. It's just how Spirit puts it is like a video game. Like everybody has a certain stats. Like we're born with certain numbers or where it's at. And some people are born with maxed out, stats of their gifts and stuff like that, and they just keep it. But then there's others that are born with like a very low, like probably like 5%, and then they have to work hard in order to get to that 100%. It just depends on what the divine or what you signed up for basically when you came here into this world soul wise. Okay. So expect a lot of wave of emotions, like roller coaster of emotions, and tower moments. Now, tower moments can be either negative or positive. I always say that. Don't always think tower moments are negative. All right. But what I mean by wave of emotions, it means usually during the ascension process, we experience a lot of like a range of emotions, pretty much all the emotions that humans can feel. And in order to do that, I know it might be painful, especially if you're not used to feeling certain things like anxiety, depression, that type of stuff. It can be quite scary and foreign when it first happens, right? But I always say people always have to start somewhere. They have to learn somewhere. I am tough love. Like my spirit guides are very tough love on me, so then I'm very tough love on others. And the thing is that the feelings of sadness, anger, resentment, grudges, all of that that's coming back up to the surface is triggering you on purpose in order for you to heal and grow, okay? As much as we hate it and we don't like it, because trust me, like it makes me, when I'm in that moment and I'm in my darkest moment, that's the last thing that I want to hear from others is that, oh, things will get better, oh, if you just keep going, you'll light up the end of the tunnel. Yeah, it's great to hear really positive things, but we must acknowledge like that negative, like not negative, but darker aspects of humanity, of our emotions that we feel, and not to kind of like pass it and kind of numb it out and kind of disregard it because it's uncomfortable to deal with, okay? I always say it's important to feel the emotion. Don't reject it. Feel it, okay? Really feel it. If you're angry, really feel that anger. Get deep. Like really be like, why the fuck am I angry? Did this person make me angry? Or am I mad at myself? Am I projecting? Like, am I that type of thing? It's just, you really have to take that time out to really, if you have to talk to yourself, that doesn't make you crazy or anything, okay? It really helps when you talk to yourself and coax you as if you were talking to a child outside of you, right? Think of it as that way. I know a lot of people are very uncomfortable with talking to themselves and see it as like schizophrenic or that type of thing, which is totally misinformed and ignorant. But the thing is that spirit is asking us not to reject that notion and part of ourselves. However, if you don't agree with talking to yourself, there's other ways you can journal. Like people find writing is a better form of getting your feelings and emotions out. Other people feel like speaking out loud or talking to a friend or someone who is supportive, who's in your support circle, can actually help as well. But it just depends on the person, okay? Take what resonates. Then I'm going to jump in for the animals, okay? So the animals that I've been seeing are, I did mention of lions all the time, like with felines regarding the divine feminine, canines representing the divine masculine energy. So I did mention snow leopards before, but this time I'm seeing a lot of mountain lions in particular. And it's funny because I'm in an area of Washington State where we're known for having mountain lions around here. So it's kind of, and now that I think about it, like it kind of reminds me of like the Twilight series when Edward was his favorite meal to hunt was actually a mountain lion versus a bear. Bear was more like his brother Emmett, that type of thing. Elephant, because also I tie back to the Twilight thing. I've noticed that a lot of people have been seeing Twilight notions, and that's been around a lot for the twin flame journey, okay? But also for the fact that it's kind of weird to me because I live in the state where Twilight was kind of filmed, like Washington State, so And the thing is like they're telling me to move on right now as far as like the Twilight series goes, but they're telling me about the eclipse. There's like, there's a saga series, so there's like Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, part 1 and 2, that type of thing, if you're doing for the movies. But for the books in particular, I like the books more than the actual franchise movies itself. But Eclipse in particular is all about, the sun and moon meeting one another, like the solar eclipse. And the eclipse is also the third book of the series. So there's something going on with the eclipse. Like, if you feel guided to read the third book, if you already know like the series, don't spoil yourself, but if you feel guided to pick up like Twilight, Eclipse, and see if you can figure out if there's some information that you can find in there as far as that goes. Anywho, so elephants have been a big indicator, especially for my grandmother. My grandmother is associated with elephants. That's how she lets me know that she's around, and she, reminding me that I'm safe and I'm watched over. But elephants also represent like strength. It also represents family dynamics. So now is the time that we're in, now that everything's popping off right now in the world, it's perfect time to really start to connect with our family, our soul tribe, our loved ones in a way, and kind of like finding out who those people are, like who's for us, who's against us, but I don't think, honestly, I don't really like to think people are against you. I just think that, no, I'm not gonna get into that. They're really, no. The thing is that they want me to speak a lot on mental health, and I will be doing a mental health series within this year. I'm actually planning to do that very soon. But the thing is that I want to start talking more about mental health and incorporating spirituality into that, so that because I love hearing about mental health and psychology in that type of way, but I also like spirituality based practices of healing. So why not just combine the both, right? So, and then zebras. I like to call them zebra. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of zebras lately, so stripe, and that kind of ties into the horse synchronicities I was seeing. But this I always see different types of horses, like unicorns, Pegasus, warrior horses was the last one, but this one is a zebra, so Africa based, maybe, but yeah, and it's very unique, it very stands out ish, you definitely notice a zebra in the wild because of the stripes that it represents. And it's like black and white, so I'm seeing the DMs are starting to, or the DFs, because this applies to both, you guys are starting to come into balance with your masculine and feminine qualities within each other. So it's like that yin and yang type of thing. Then I'm seeing a lot of dragonflies, which kind of ties into the dragon synchronicities, as well as butterflies. And I always mention what that means, like new beginnings, transformation, that type of stuff. But one thing they want to mention is the butterfly effect. And the butterfly effect is more so like that ripple effect, like the actions will have consequences, so that cause and effect type of law, that type of thing. So they're saying be careful of your actions, your thoughts, your emotions, and stuff like that around this time, because those actions actually will tie into, it will affect the outcome pretty much of your outcome. So what's meant for you is meant for you, but there's other factors that are like in this lifetime where we have to be aware of our actions, okay? Yes, you have free will. You can technically do whatever the fuck you want, but the thing is that there's consequences to those actions, okay? So choose wisely. Crows have been a big thing, especially, big, like crows is all about communication. It's also representation of what is right and what is wrong, okay? Crows, a lot of people like to associate with death energy. That also applies too within like pagan type terms, but for me, native terms, crow represents what is right and what is wrong, and knowing the difference between both, okay? And then white buffaloes, I've been seeing a lot lately. And normally, it started off with just normal buffaloes, but then it changed to, white buffalo. And I remember, like, especially within the Lakota tribe and amongst other tribes as well, because I have Blackfoot Native ancestry in me, but the white buffalo is considered very sacred within native terms. And in fact, I suggest that you guys look up what a white buffalo is, and really look into that, because it's very sacred, very rare, and it's a very good sign. A lot of meaning behind it, okay? And then cows, been seeing a lot of cows kind of ties into that fertility type of energy, you know, being very fertile, giving birth. Also, horses, again, wolves, foxes, you know, with the canine energy representing the divine masculine. And then eagles, you know, another form of birds that represent like higher perspective, higher knowledge, because eagles fly above the storm rather than through it. They're able to fly so high that they are able to pretty much soar above the storm. So spirit is asking us to kind of embody that eagle-like spirit in order to see from a higher perspective, to embody that energy of being able to soar, spread your wings, you know, fly, that type of thing. And that you're protected, guided, and, you know, loved ones, especially ancestors, are carefully watching over you as well. Okay, so I did mention brown bear recently, and that is like ties into, you know, the unconditional love, and also for me it kind of represents like feminine energy. It can represent masculine as well, but I more so get like a feminine that for now. Okay, and then numerology that I've been seeing the most lately are 1111, 111, 333, 444, because today's the portal. 555. I've been seeing a lot of sixes lately. Anything with 666, 616, 606, which represents reconciliation, balance. It also represents like love, you know. It also is a masculine number, by the way. 9 is representation of the divine feminine number. Been seeing a lot of sevens, like 707, 777, 717. A lot of 10s, completions of cycles, 1010, 1001, mirrored numbers, you know, mirroring energies between the divine masculine and divine feminine. Of course, with 121, 420 as well, blaze it. 144, which I think that ties into the 144,000 light workers that I was referring to that are starting to awaken on this earth in order to produce this mass movement, which is this mass awakening. So 144 ties into kind of like that biblical terms type of thing. So if you feel guided to look those up. And then 432, which for me, I feel like spirit is telling people to start listening to 432 hertz, start getting into frequency music, because that will help you around this time, especially with all this energy that's going on. High frequency music, especially 432 hertz, is going to help keep you level-headed or balanced. All right. So then number 7s and 13, because 7 is my favorite number, very lucky, means wealth and abundance, that type of thing. So okay, so goodness, symbols that I've been seeing a lot lately on this journey. I did mention of compasses, but now it's starting to turn into like sundials. So if you know what I'm talking about, a sundial, it's like more of an older version of kind of like a compass, but it's kind of like is the same, ties into that. But more so with the sundial, I'm seeing that it tracks down like the sun. So I'm seeing that masculine energy is starting to, like I said, rise a lot of the times. And the emperor, I did say, is making a comeback. So the divine masculine is making a comeback within us all, and then also within the twin flame journey. So then seeing a lot of, again, with the flowers like tulips in particular, roses, you know, representing the divine feminine, unconditional love, etc. And also offer commitment, that type of thing, love offer. And then the cherry blossoms. I'm seeing a lot of cherry blossoms lately, which also represents, this kind of is cherry blossom season. In Japanese culture, we have this thing called cherry blossom viewing. So usually that happens within like March, April, like usually April time, where you would go outside, sit down underneath some cherry blossoms trees and just watch it fall, you know, watch it bloom, and just eat, have family time, talk, like have community time basically. So yeah, it's a beautiful experience. So I'm starting to notice, like, you know, cherry blossoms everywhere. I also have a cherry blossom wallpaper. So yeah. I love cherry blossoms. And stars, moon, and sun, which, you know, I always talk about that, which represent the feminine, masculine within us. Moon, feminine, sun, masculine. Stars, representing you both. Crown, synchronicity, you know, I did mention this is Aries season. It represents the crown. So a lot of crown activations, downloads, that type of thing. Also, crown ties into, like, if you were a past life, like I'm seeing a lot of like royalty type status, you know, a lot of past life regression work coming to the surface as well. So people are starting to connect more with different past lifetime timelines and stuff. So royalty or stuff like that, like monarchy, you know, you could be tied into that. So, and then fire and ice is a big elemental type thing. I did post a Robert Frost poem on my Instagram talking about fire and ice. So go ahead and head there if you are interested. As far as like the starseed goes, like starseed origins and past life things, a lot of Atlantis, Egypt, Lemuria, Pleiades, like Pleiadians, Mintonkans, Sirius, Arcturians, blueprinters, indigos, crystals, rainbows, all those types of children are now starting to wake up to their power, to their gifts, etc. So whatever resonates, usually a lot of people like to figure out more of their past life by accessing the Akashic records, which usually you can ask Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron is what I would go and ask for as far as the Akashic records go, because he's the one that's kind of like the bookkeeper of that as far as angel wise goes. But it's just like a library that everybody kind of has access to, but not everybody can go in. Does that make sense? Like everybody has like Akashic records, like they have their own documents within that records, right? But that doesn't mean everybody can access the Akashic records. Only certain people can, it's like very sacred knowledge and information, so not just anybody can come across it and just get that knowledge and run with it. No, it's just sometimes, a lot of the times, some of the higher beings or angelic beings will block you and not allow you to even go through that archive or not even access that type of information, because for one, you're either not ready to access that information at this current point in time, or two, it's just not meant for you to know, during this lifetime. So but what a lot of Egypt, okay, so a lot of ancient Kemet type things, which is what Egypt was called a long time ago during Atlantis times. A lot of Ankh pyramids, like the Ankh representing like the original cross before Christianity turned the Ankh into the actual cross that you guys see for Christianity. But originally it was called the Ankh, which was Egypt, Africa based. So yeah, and then pyramids is another activation point. So a lot of people feel guided to visit the pyramids because it's a DNA activation point. So I did mention a little bit of like how Hawaii, Alaska, like Mount Shasta, these type is like Northern Lights. These places are activation points so that your DNA is able to ascend a bit as far as that goes. Like it creates something, like it activates something within your whole being, your whole system, your soul, basically. And it creates like a transformation process or change, within your life. Big synchronicity is that Spirit's been showing me a lot is the seeing Moses from Prince of Egypt. And Prince of Egypt is one of my favorite as far as like old biblical like interpretations of stories, right? But Moses in particular, the burning bush scene is standing out to me the most. And that kind of like ties into how I see the masculines are kind of going into their cave. Like I feel like that's how masculines kind of wake up. Like they're going in their cave. That's that hermit four swords mode, going away, isolating yourself, going within, talking with the creator, talking with spirit, connecting with spirit, being open to your purpose and your mission in life. So they're starting to know what their life purpose is. Like they're starting to get downloads from, the divine, like basically what you're here for, right? So a lot of things are going to be starting to make clear. The burning bush also reminds me of the blue flame, right? So look up what blue flame is. A lot of feather synchronicities as well, angelic beings around. So I did mention of dance within last videos, but dance has been a big thing now. Still, ballet. I love ballet. That's something that I like to get into. But also fancy and jingle dress. So like dance dress. So that's like traditional native dancing. Like I like jingle dress, like jingle dance, that type of thing. It's like a specific, and then there's others called like fancy, but I'm into that, and I kind of want to get more into the dancing aspect of moving my body around and being able to express my emotions and project my energy more in a healthy manner than, say, for instance, sitting home alone and eating a tub of ice cream, but that's fun too. But rings, a lot of rings, wedding, births, that type of thing, like marriage, unions, all of that, reconciliation energy, also commitment to yourself, commitment to a new lifestyle, a change, that type of thing. Wings, I've been seeing a lot of wing synchronicities that kind of ties into the feathers. And then, like, I kind of want to mention that the black and white aspects that I've been seeing a lot with the yin and yang, I want to mention the color gray, because the gray is the color that's in between. And we have to keep in mind that not everything is black and white. Not everything is just duality within this world. There's a lot of things that are, like, in between. So it's kind of like that 4D type energy, like experiencing the 4D, which represents truth, right? So releasing of the ego. And it's kind of like Neptune-ish, like illusion-like, kind of, I don't know, cloudy in a way, like 4D. The thing is, like, 3D is very, like, it's ego-based. You're not going to get much of a clear picture. But however, if you're working from a 4D on up vibration, then you're starting to get more of a clear, it's like a lens kind of focusing on something, and then you're able to see a clearer picture on it. But before, it was just completely blown out and blurry. So they're saying pay attention to the gray areas that's in between. Okay, and then mountain synchronicities, a lot of mountains, a lot of volcanoes, mountain type synchronicities. So feeling like you're steady incline or feeling downhill, you know, that's kind of like life with like a roller coaster type of analogy. But mountains also means like adversaries, like feeling like you're climbing a mountain, feeling like there's something that's stuck in between or creating a blockage, you know, which could be illusion based mentality, etc. So that's coming into the surface right now. All right, so I think I got everything for okay, one last thing that before I let you guys go, crystals that they want me to reference to start working with a lot is I have this blue calcite right here. So this is great, works great for the throat chakra, you know, a lot of blue energy. It kind of ties into the blue flame that I was saying. Also tiger's eye, right? Tiger's eye is great for protection. It kind of goes into like the grounding. It helps with the root chakra, sacral as well. Okay, and then also yellow citrine. This is great for solar plexus. Okay, solar plexus or sacral, and then this rose quartz right here. So it's great for the heart chakra, etc. So, all right, so I shall send you guys off on your way. I'm gonna come back in, and I possibly will do a. I don't know if I want to do a tarot reading, honestly. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna leave you guys with that, but I will leave you off by showing you guys that I did receive these crystals and amongst other crystals and this as a gift from my parents and my family, and I was super grateful that I got a new oracle deck, and it's a spirit animal deck. So this will help in future readings, but for right now, we'll see. It's a either if I don't come back, it just means that spirit doesn't want me to do the reading. If I do come back, then they just do. So either or, right? So don't have any expectations. But the thing is that this will help for future readings because I have been seeing a lot of spirit animals, and this is perfect because this has pretty much all the animals that I've been seeing and been channeling for a while now on this journey, and it's great to have a physical representation so that I can show you guys. Okay, so much love to you guys. Stay safe. Make sure that you guys are staying protected. All right, be patient with yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and others. Okay, and also know that, you know, just take it easy. Okay, take it easy. Don't push yourself. Don't overexert yourself. All right. Okay. Focus on what truly matters. Okay, figure out your priorities, etc., and what works for you. Okay. Love you guys. See you guys in my next video. Peace.